am. Ooh, what a great picture. That's awesome, isn't it? However, InShalla and Ashe, once again, blessings to you, my energetic beings. So the energy of today is like delivering the news, and sharing is caring. So you might have learned something new that you didn't quite know about yourself before, possibly about yourself or who you are on the inside to who you want to be on the outside. You may have begun feeling as if you are ignorant in some ways as well, or lost in the moment, lost in space. But the rising of the origin is coming up soon, and you will see that on a variety of social media channels. Our core or our prime directive, like who is directing our show, our movie. It's going to be a complimentary 5-day immersion. But with all of that, welcome to today's Daily Snippet. Once again, I am your host. I am a practicing holistic Shah medium and subtle energetic surgeon. My thing is to merge these indigenous technologies, the spirit of the Dagar tribe in Dano, Burkina Faso, with the subtle energies, elements, and elemental beings. Basically, the elemental realm into the imaginal realms with offerings, rituals, and prescriptions to really add to your personal container, the juice. So my intention really is to merge these indigenous technologies, the wisdom of Africa, within the subtle realms, the etheric highway, to assist you into navigating your inner genius, your prime directive. Just really introducing you to the magical being that really resides within each and every one of us. My name is Tanya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. And if you haven't already, please be kind and do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tanya D. Hit the bell button so you are notified. And also, please be kind, and if you don't mind, liking the video, sharing, or commenting so that YouTube algorithm will echo me out to like-minded musers in the galactic universe, along with other social channels like Instagram, TikTok, and my Musing with Tanya D podcast. It's all about the elemental realm, the subtle energies. Every year I do a different season. This season is called the Otherworldlies. But, with all of that, what was the feeling, sensations that you woke up with this morning? Were you questioning yourself, wondering what you were doing or what to do with yourself? So this is the feeling sensations where we have like the thousands of questions with no heartfelt answers. It's feeling as if we have no direction, no path. We might feel lost in space or just lost. We can't even track the threads. So often it's about sitting with our committee, if you will, our guardians, our gatekeepers, our higher self, our Sira, our physical self, our soul, body, and asking, what is it that I need to do about X, Y, and Z? And then the waiting comes in. So you could call in the fairy godmother too, being that she was in yesterday's messages, the moon's daughter, or even the maiden, the childlike wonder. So we really have options. So those are the keys really to access the quandary, but it's like, what's the recipe, to do something new? Maybe create a new exercise routine, create a new show title, walk a new path if you have a fur baby, like mine's, he's doing the thing, but drive a different route to work. If you're leaving the house, do the same thing, Even if the forces of adversity are high on the tides, things that need to be resolved here probably need resolution in the other world as well. So even if our ambition is like lying low, it's at a stalemate, we don't have any goals, we're like watching the world and wondering what the front door is going on. Either way, the recipe is the same. So to be the solution, let's explore, let's take an adventure, let's experiment. So the juice for all of this, the sauce, really is the joy molecules. It's the laughter inside of us, finding the humor in the shift show. There's got to be some fun, right? So when you see the show differently through different eyes, you might be tempted to feel a little judgmental due to the feelings of being lost. So it's this new consciousness of acting in a new way that takes us on a path of learning and discovery and maybe understanding, getting insight, something different, just learning a new way of doing what it is that we do. So turning the clown the other way around, and we become one step closer on our path, on our journey, and this galactic imagery. So it's like patterns and habits, even a ritual or a ceremony. How are you treating your inner garden on your day-to-day? Maybe you need a new habit, a new learning, a new offering to spark your fire. The second that we are less than kind to ourselves today, Those are the habits. The establishment needs a new learning curve. And you are your establishment, right? So how we treat ourselves is how others are going to treat us. So everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. We know that. So just allowing people to walk on you where you are walking on yourself at. So that's kind of what that is. So when we allow people to walk on us, where are we walking on ourselves at, right? So you gotta meet that foundation. Hang on one second here. Being that foundation that we are, right? That was kind of exciting. So in doing so, we have to recalibrate and do some different things within ourselves of what that even looks like. So what do? Right? So sometimes when we do feel ignorant on the inside, we might be feeling a little less ignorant on the outside as well. So what am I trying to say? The phone got me dismembered today, but that's okay. We all have those days, right? But once again, it's my sister calling. My little Sir Diddy is having a heart condition. And so I texted her. So now she's messaging me back. So I hope she just texts me right back. That would be easier to do this. But with all the messages of today and where the sun is, the moon is, and the elemental highway, the messages of being our own fairy godmother and echoing that out and being in our own sacred space, planting our own seeds, nurturing our own being, and just wondering what we are going to do with ourselves in the future. Today's energy is kind of, where we might feel lost. We don't have a path. We can't track our threads. And often, just sitting with the committee, our guardians and all that, this is kind of where we can sit in silence and get the messages from the other world and knowing who we are in our star seeds. Something new and create something new. That's how we can try something different. So even if the forces of adversity are on the high tide, things that need to be resolved there probably need the resolution again in the other world as well. Even if our ambition is lying low, we don't have any goals, it's time to be the solution in our galactic garden, our super juice, our sauce, and our joys and our laughters, and just seriously finding the humor in the shift show. And things are always shifting, right? So sometimes when we're judgmental to our feelings, that's not a good way to behave. So the consciousness of acting in a different way, it's going to take a new path of discovering and just learning a new way of doing what it is that we do, just turning literally the clown the other way around. And then we become closer on our path, our journey, the galactic imagery. So again, back to my story, sparking our fires, the fires inside of us. So the habits that we have inside of us, our own inner establishment, if you will, needs a new learning curve. So just how we treat ourselves on the inside is the vibration that we attract on the outside. So this is the foundation. It's our root center. So maybe make a conscious list of how you feel you are being treated and how you would like to be treated, like two sides of the same page, if you will. And literally sit with that for a moment, maybe a few hours, if you will, come back to it. So it's like, how am I treating myself on the inside? And what is it that I am attracting to myself on the outside? So I go through this as well because we're in the season of how we treat ourselves. So by creating this awareness, we have the ability to shift these codes in the next few days. So really take the note today. The song I think that came up for me earlier was Cruel to Be Kind. You got to be cruel to be kind in the right measure. So it's a very good sign, just acknowledging it, accessing it, and accepting. Those are my 3 A's, A to the 3. A new way of being, kind to ourselves, all in the same highway, if you will. So really come up with different ways that you can approach yourself on the inside and have those inside voice conversations or confessions. I myself am guilty of that in a good way. So it's like having that inner voice conversation. So climb into your movie, see where you're at, not kind to yourself on the inside. So this creates that understanding, the mountaintop view, that perspective. So I myself am searching my feelings, my threadings. Where do I belong socially? What is my status in my day-to-day reality? Where is my social life? Or where in the world should I be? Where do I belong? Just exploring these threads. It's like the soul's prerogative, and just distinguishing, like the cat, when the cats do the needy, distinguishing those feelings inside of us. So who should I align with? Who is my village? You know, I'm just musing out loud, but trying to enlighten the load, distrusting myself, recalibrating the village, you know. You will see people, things, events, and even situations. Some are threading from a spiritual heart, and some are from the spiritual ego. Very different threadings there. So be open today. We need to kind of let go of the past so we can do a future offering. Maybe take a leap, try something new. It kind of feels like the Jedi or Star Trek, going to places we've never been before. So often our mistakes, you know, they really are our greatest learning tool. I make mistakes with the grill of money. I'm not even kidding. I trust the characters to have integrity, and then I see where they do not have that. So spending what I don't have to be where I do not belong. You know, it's like I got on the memo pad on that one feel, if you don't mind, like a frog, literally in the lily pond, sitting on my own personal lily pad, watching everything. So just forgiving the idea of a mistake. Those are the greatest waves, of realizing there is no such thing as a mistake, just a learning curve. Can't say I'll do it again, right? That's where we got the memo on the lily pad. So just try something new, test the waters. The only thing that you will do is show where you are already doing great. That's the great thing of getting the memo, right? We already know the messages of where we're doing great and where we're not, and knowing where we do and do not belong, but we have to kind of feel into the feelings of that. But the messages of today, I'm super excited. I chose the Light Seers, and I just kind of felt like going on a tangent because I did. The moon is in the season of adventure, our higher octave beliefs. The sun is in the season of Aries. So we have the fire lighting up our emotional channel of what we feel inside of ourselves. What do we feel? What it is, or what is it that we can cycle up or uplearn, or where can we discover more? Feelings never lie, right? But the messages, so with our intuition and our wisdom channel online, our third eye, the vision center of color. So any visual clairs out there, people who see things visually through the clair. So I am obviously a visual plus some other cosmic ingredients, and so are you. But first up, we have a message from the Light Seers, the Six of Swords. Hang on again, my phone is just blowing up. There we go. Okay, awesome. The Six of Swords. Chords are great. Otherworldly, I might add. So this is like difficulties, accepting help. Maybe we're being resistant to the change. Maybe we are carrying the baggage or the weight from the past, trying to bring it into the future. So it says if we are moving through a period of realignment, things can feel turbulent during times like this. It's a transition, right? So trust that a better future awaits us. On the other side of this change and this transformation, maybe we are going through a rite of passage, or more importantly, it feels like this intense spiritual transformation. So often these experiences are profoundly personal. We also may feel alone, right? Even when it's difficult to accept assistance from others, help, right? The assistance. Obviously, I have people in my garden that need my assistance today. But it really is a message to remain open to receiving help from the most unexpected of places. Just allowing the universe to support us in gentle rivers, or a gentle way, a gentle mist, to move through the ocean of the evolutions, and leaning in towards the silver linings of the horizon. Hopefully some sunshine, some sunsets, some sunrises, right? Sometimes we often find ourselves adrift, just floating, because we think we are ready to move on, but our heart is still anchored into the past. So it's like we're closing an old chapter, and it's like, what chapter needs to be closed? Are we chasing guidance in the form of renewed hope? Are we getting ready to explore fresh new beginnings on the opposing shorelines? You know, take that adventure. So it's a message that we should accept help so we can easily cross this transition, this crossroads. That's kind of what I'm sensing, seeing there. I love these cards though. They're super juicy. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is diligence and hard work, being determined, building that material security, safety, expansion. Because he knows he's tilled the lands, he's toiled the gardens, he's enjoying every last minute of it. He's actually more practical than the other knights, which I love about it. He's earthy, right? But he improves things for himself, also loving of his surroundings, just having a consistent momentum. He's devoted. He's actually solidifying those foundations. So it's this very earthy energy, assuring us that extra care is just going to multiply our harvest for tomorrow. It's like once you start something, you have to follow through, right? So it's time to show this fierce loyalty and trustworthiness, having pride, to tend to our homes, while at the same time we're uncovering our unwavering ambitions for our future story. Sometimes this energy is just way too stable. It feels really repetitive, possibly boring. So you possibly might be feeling the resistance, or maybe you preferred to stay in bed. So it's just finding the joy in the little things, the baby things in our steps forward in the progress. So the journey really is the thing. So just uncovering our heart-stirring enthusiasm by allowing ourselves to believe in something brighter and something bigger. So this is a message of infinite expansion. So is the energy of the day. So it's with time and faith that our seeds are going to be planted. They're going to take root. So just following through on our plans and our promises and move that stagnant energy that's really blocking us from our dreams. This really is taking the energy from the full moon in Virgo, if you haven't done so, planting our seeds by seeds into the future and having that rock steady foundation of faith, literally laying the ground, faith in the foundation. Super juicy there. And then to add to the container, which this can't top this off. Well, I guess I could. We're finishing up with the King of Wands, and just look at that juicy character. It almost makes me want to date again. Look at the lion in the background even. So he truly is the King of Wands, this Leo energy, the sun, and the season of Aries. So we've had air, we've had earth, now we've got the fire. So I don't think I've actually had the message from this one before, now that I say that out loud. But he is otherworldly too. So this might be being overly ambitious, maybe the need for compassion. Do you feel like you're having some egomania issues? Again, we're in the season of Aries, right? So possibly being too assertive or not assertive enough. Are your emotions explosive? Maybe you're feeling a little impatient. So this fiery guy, he's definitely charismatic. He's a natural born leader. His vitality is just emanating through his laughter, which we all need. And he's got this obsession with life being lived very well. So it's like, are you dancing to his energy? You may feel a surge of entrepreneurial passion that pushes you to the edges of your epic success, whatever that looks like for each and every one of us. So this is like the message of moguls, masterpieces, and more importantly, of soul inspiration. The King of Wands is calling us to unleash that offbeat weirdo energy that we've got inside of us, to be eccentric or to be absolutely unapologetic in pursuit of our stellar galactic energy, just grounding our visions through this wildly novel expression of those big ideas. So if you find yourself getting tripped up by the menu of the day to day, it really is a message to like recruit some help, reach out and touch someone, message someone. You know, we are not alone in a variety of ways. Maybe map out the big grand picture, the grand scheme of life, the bigger picture. Holler, scream, do it passionately. And also invite others to see what you see. You know, sometimes that's like, you know, question everything, be curious. See if other people are seeing what you're seeing. But the shadow side of this energy, being that it's otherworldly, is that we may not perceive our own blind spots. We might have the blinders on because we're overzealous in our ambitions. It's kind of a message to keep our arrogance and our unrealistic expectations at the shorelines, work out the kinks before charging ahead with our intensely vibrant heart. So it's like passionately, you know, the heart is being fueled. And that's how we're going to build this empire of light together. Baby things turn into mountains, right? So I think that's great energy for the day. Even though we've had some otherworldly cards, we don't need to go down the rabbit hole. I don't like doing that. On the elemental highway, though, I also find curious. Lots of water and wood there, right? We have a Yin Wood Pig of a day. A Yaya High. So, you know, I got into the elementals when I started utilizing my energy skin sessions, the energetic centers, the elements of the seasons. It really is a foundation to our galactic core, along with the cosmic highway, I might add, and then to add the sauce to really kind of juice it up. But the universe really sent me to Melodoma, my heart and my friend, just to make it more spicy. But I always listen to my intuition on who I should be working with and who I should not be, and you should too. But a Yin Wood day, the rabbit is the friend to our day. And the water, the yin water on the stem, that is support to our day. But the pig and the tiger kind of create a buzz when they meet. I actually have the tiger on my day, and I'm in it's called a 10-year pillar, and I have the pig there. So it's like this, you bring somebody where you're just like giggly and juicy. So maybe that's the energy I'm feeling today. Everyone's blowing up my phone. I don't know. So it's kind of like lusty love, which is funny now that I say that out loud, the King of Wands, right? Kind of peculiar, but there's lots of water and wood energy. So our day is strong. It's born in the season of the rabbit. So it's prosperous due to this strong footing, the foundation, the rootedness. And the yang fire I talked about yesterday, the sun is really needed to warm up our day. And the purpose of the yin water is to provide the moisture, which we've got plenty of water, right? So earth is also an element that's welcomed in. The yin earth can also keep our day under control, utilizing it. And yang metal would also be useful to keep it abundant, giving it a job, pruning it, trimming it up. So people born under this element, they're more sophisticated, they're charming. It's a softer wood, so it's like creeping vines and flowers and plants. So you can really count on these people to act accordingly in events or situations that really require etiquette or knowledge or refinement, because it's yin energy, right? Yin is refined. So they are gifted. Yin wood they're gifted people, gifted with skills, diffusing arguments. Their acumen is more for diplomacy, law kind of thing, diplomacy. I like diplomacy. However, they might give into the demands of others really easy because they're yin, they go with the flow. So they're open to making compromises to really keep the peace. We have a lot of water, which is peace, and wood is kindness. I don't really go into the opposing, but the opposing would be fear and anger. But our day has amazing survival skills. In the same way that vines find a way to continue creeping, these people can adapt to changes in any environment. They can also be devious when that's needed. But there's also instances when they're also too willing to accommodate the others. They don't seem to control their own mind, if you will. They're kind of wishy-washy. So people born under this Daymaster, this element, they can attack a problem at its core since they're not prejudiced. They make up their minds quickly, but that can also backfire more often than not because they're only seeing what's on the surface. So their solutions may not be permanent. So if it's not implemented without careful planning, because wood is also planning, its goals, its direction, their feelings actually rule their decisions. So they sometimes are given to their emotional outbursts, especially possibly anger, the opposing side of kindness. So their objectivity could be impaired when they feel strongly about something. So when they're faced with an emotional situation, they often put others first. So they kind of stand, how they stand kind of fluctuates like the wind. It just depends on how the wind is blowing. That's kind of how they go. So when you need a decision right away, you can rely on them to do it, but you can't depend on them to make those best choices because often they'll propose a temporary solution. They tend to question their own judgment. So these people are innately social. They become more confident about their choices that they make when their friends agree with them. And our day has friends. My dad's chart's similar to this. He has more wood. So sometimes he's got friends and frenemies. So it's just two sides of a crazy coin. But their imagination can literally mess up their thinking. But having people around to keep them on track is really what assists them, helps them out like tremendously. So their image consciousness needs external validation. So the people or the opinion of other people around them is very important. They really thrive on appreciation and praise. So when they are recognized, they really feel more confident. But this could also ruin them as criticism is that's their downer to their own self-confidence. So they really crave attention. And these are the ones who really try to get into the spotlight. Their efforts could be kind of harmless or juvenile at first, but they can become worse, right? So this confidence of these people, it fluctuates depending on the attention they're getting, like is it positive or negative? And they really find it hard to say no to peer pressure. Most of the time, their confidence, their self-esteem, solar plexus energy changes based on how other people see them. And they can work on their own personal confidence by just learning new things and overcoming challenges. So these people can develop their own self-confidence, making them less susceptible to a variety of forces of adversity and problems and challenges. But that's how they could use improvements of their own self-esteem. But our day is very strong, like plants, like all plants. Plants need yang, fire, the sun. They also need yin, water, the rain, to balance the growth. Not a lot of water, right? But our day does have a ton of water. So they really have this diverse, interesting relationship with metal, though, which is supposed to control them, trim them up. What's interesting about yin wood versus yang wood when it comes to trimming is the more you cut yin energy, the stronger it becomes. So think of grass. Every time you cut it, it comes back. It's healthier, it's thicker, the spring is coming, the summer, cutting the grass. So even though their innate nature, it's perceived as soft, when they're under pressure, they can overcome any obstacle. They're kind of like ivy, which finds a way to spring out through cracks or stones and just burst through, kind of like weeds too. So they are really tough to control from all of the master elementals. They are literally like survivalists. They are skilled in surviving because of this, their way of how they handle the element of metal, which represents law and authority to them. So these people could actually be excellent lawyers, public defenders. They usually have excellent skills in arguing, like anger argument, right? They're not afraid of the law, even if they are innocent, but even if they're not. So with that, considering that our day, the energy of the day, this yin wood frequency, they're constantly seeking attention and admiration. So they can become excellent stage performers as well. So you're going to see a lot of famous people have a yin wood Daymaster. There's a significant number of singers and actors with this element, the voice, which metal is also the voice. That's the energy we need. But yin wood people, they're elegant, they're beautiful. So it's like Princess Diana, Hugh Jackman, even Amy Winehouse, Madonna. Those are just some of the names that have, again, a yin wood Daymaster. But there's other elements that play out. Even Oprah has a yin wood Daymaster. So they're strong. They endure things. So with the energy of the day and our root being online for the season, we also have our third eye. It's like, what is the vision, the adventure that you would like to manifest into the physical? So it's like, what is the message the King of Wands is bringing us? The fire of success. The Knight of Pentacles is earthing it or grounding it into the Earth star. The moon is in the season of Sagittarius. So we've got this starry night of galactic juice, Jupiter, who's in the season of Pisces, spirit. So it's like, what is the spiritual story that your heart wants to live? And what is your spiritual character? What is it attuning to? So the moon is really adding more potency to the change of what our heartfelt beliefs are. And this just might ignite the passion with emotional responses and feel through the feelings and validate them. Feelings need to be validated, right? So let's see. I would affirm that I am opening my heart channel to my soul's story, recalibrating that story that I speak to myself, that inside voice. And just be opening up our channel to vision the life that we are meant to live. What does that look like? And allow spirit to show us our story, the story of who we are. And what does your heart feel your spiritual truth is? Do some soul truth testing. Hey, soul, this is my spiritual truth, or is it? Just feel into those streams. See what images, feelings, sensations come through the threading. Stay super juicy. I believe I am, so I am. Make it an adventurous, self-loving day. Believe in who you are. Take that stand. Maybe go with the wind, the breeze of the wind. So everybody, I just think of that song, Take a Stand. Anyway, I still have Sandalphon online. But go check out my Ariel from Monday, the Archangel Ariel. I'm going to be creating a podcast dedicated to her this week. It'll be out of the gate on Monday. Subscribe so you don't miss out on that little juice. But as always, I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for putting up with my phone ringing and texting and all the juice happening. And yeah, blessings to you. Ashe.